Well, now you know what the weather's going to be like. It's live TV. You know, we work without a net around here. That's the way we like to do it. It adds just that little element of danger when you do live TV. Good morning. How are you? It is Wednesday, the 17th day of July, 2019. I am Dan Kuntz, your host, and this is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your Wednesday morning with us here on the NCW Live channel. Got a good show for you today. I'm going to fill your head full of information that you need to get your day going. We have the weather forecast, which you just saw a sneak peek of it, to get ready for some significant winds and then a major warming trend coming up. By the time we get to the weekend, we've talked about this. Summer seems to be taking its sweet time getting here, but it's going to get here. There's no way we're going to go all summer long with cloudy and below normal temperatures and the occasional rain. That simply wasn't going to happen, but it has been happening. It's going to change, though. Forecast details are coming up. Also, sports. Wenatchee Apple Sox are the hottest team in the West Coast League. They won again last night. The Mariners are not the hottest team in Major League Baseball. They lost again last night. That's a preview of sports. Also, we'll have the obscure holiday today in history. Birthdays. Everybody's entitled to Mike McNaughty's opinion. And last night, after she got off work, she came down to pay me a visit. I'm talking about Dr. Molly Hogan. She's a dermatologist with Confluence Health. And Dr. Hogan came down to talk about sun safety. Hasn't really been much of an issue so far this summer, but it's going to be. Got to protect your skin when you're out and about in the sunny and hot weather. And Dr. Hogan is going to be my guest in the back half of the program. So all in all, a pretty good-looking show today, all things considered. So let's get going. Let's start out with the best part of the whole darn show, our tour of the Wenatchee Valley in north central Washington with our high-definition PTZ cameras. Good morning to you, Charity, by the way, who just sent me a message on our Facebook page. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley. We are looking good. We're always looking good. Even in the dead of winter, we look good as the valley continues to grow. You just look at that and you say, wow, you know, there used to be a lot of orchards around there. Not so much now. Orchards are being torn out. Housing developments are being put in. That is what we call growth, and you can't stop it no matter how hard you try. It's just the nature of the beast. People like it here. Quite frankly, I don't blame them. Beautiful view of the Wenatchee Valley. You can see the clouds, and we're going to have clouds, by the way, all day today. Our high yesterday was only 83. Our normal high would be at 88 degrees. So 10 out of our last 11 days, we have seen the high temperature below normal. And it's going to be below normal for the next couple of days as well. But the big weather story, I want to talk about this in depth, is going to be the wind. Going to be very windy for a couple of days. Camera 2, where are we off to, Megan? She gets to decide. I have to guess. I am guessing the monitor camera. Am I correct? Hey, I'm correct. I'm 2 for 2. Orchards are looking good. You can just barely make out Cashmere on the far right-hand corner of your screen. You can't quite see downtown monitor. Of course, you would be able to see the Monitor Hilton and the Monitor Dome and the Monitor Convention Center, but you can't quite make that out as US 2, US 97 ribbons its way through the upper part of the Wenatchee Valley. Camera number 3. Let's do a slow dissolve to Orondo Rock. Turtle Rock is dominating your view there. Of course, they call it Turtle Rock because it looks just like a giant rock. There's Lake Antiette. I think I see a boat or two out there. Of course, the Chinook season opened yesterday. Our very own Eric Granstrom went to work. By that, I mean he and his wife Marion put in early yesterday, and they done real good. They limited out. We'll have that story when we get to the news here in just a little bit. Of course, if Turtle Rock wasn't there, you'd be able to see the Wenatchee Valley, but it's there. And trust me, it's not going anywhere. That's our Orondo Rock view. And camera number 4 is Omi Gardens. Oh me, oh my, beautiful shot of Omi Gardens. We're going to be doing an interview up there with our friends at Omi Gardens coming up early next month, the Friends of the Gardens. A fantastic organization. Of course, Omi Gardens celebrates its 90th anniversary this year, one of the crown jewels of the Wenatchee Valley. We're going to be up there to do our interviews at the gardens. I mean, why not? It's just beautiful. It's one of my favorite locations. I could spend hours at Omi Gardens. I really could. It's just so peaceful and relaxing, and it's just gorgeous. Thank you to the Omi family for having the foresight to put in those gardens all those years ago, because now it's all these years later, and these trees are tall and beautiful and dominating, and it's just gorgeous. Omi Gardens, I love it. Looking forward to that visit. So that is our tour around north central Washington, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless setup. Let's take a look at that weather forecast, and there is a lot to talk about today. The next system is moving into the region. We'll begin to move into the region today which means lots of clouds, maybe a sprinkle. Not a lot of wind yet today, but that's going to change tonight. So lots of clouds, a little bit of light rain, high of 79. No real wind this morning, but as the day progresses, the winds are going to be picking up. Northwest wind about 8 to 16 miles an hour, gusts as high as 25. National Weather Service sent us this graphic yesterday, and this will be wind gusts, not sustained winds, just wind gusts. And as you can see, the Wenatchee Valley and the Waterville Plateau are going to take the brunt of those very, very strong winds. Clear tonight, 61 for the overnight low. Look at those winds, about 8 to 15 miles an hour, gusts as high as 24 miles an hour. Significant gusts, especially Thursday. When you look at that graphic, really Thursday is the day where the gusts are really going to be picking up as the system continues to slide through the area. Fire weather concerns, a little bit. They're a little bit worried on Thursday. In order to issue a red flag warning or a red flag watch or a fire alert warning, anything like that from the National Weather Service, they need the combination of low relative humidity. We're going to have that. Strong winds, we're going to have that. And warm temperatures. Well, the temperatures aren't going to be particularly warm. In fact, they're going to be well below normal, almost 10 degrees below normal. So right now, they think, at least as of this morning with the National Weather Service, they don't think they're going to have to issue a red flag warning, which is good. We don't want that to happen at all. So take a look at where you live. Very windy. Waterville Plateau up there, that exposed area, that ridge, you can see gusts at 50 miles an hour. Again, most of this is going to be happening on Thursday and Thursday night, the strongest of the winds. Lots of sunshine tomorrow, but that temperature of 78 is 10 degrees below normal. We'll be below normal on Friday with a high of 80, but then high pressure is going to come, and boy, is it going to get warm. Look at the overnight low on Thursday and Friday, 57, 58. That's chilly for the middle of July, but then here comes the heat as high pressure is going to start dominating our weather. It's out there in the Pacific. It's going to start working our way in after this system moves through the area. Here comes high pressure, so we're going to go from 80 to 86 to 92 to just plain hot on Monday and Tuesday of next week. And by the way, they are predicting that most of next week will be sunny and hot. This will be a well-entrenched, very strong high-pressure ridge that's going to start dominating our weather once we get to Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So if you're looking for sunny and hot weather, and it has not happened yet really this summer at all, going all the way back to June 21st, the first day of summer, it's coming. It's coming indeed. Sunrise this morning, 5:21, sunset 8:52 tonight. That'll give us 15 hours and 31 minutes of daylight. Again, system comes through today. The ridge, the jet stream, is out of position. It's kind of right over the U.S.-Canadian border, and it's a big one, too, and it's just, whew, here it comes. Lots and lots of wind. Not so much this morning. Winds will be picking up in intensity later on this afternoon. It'll be windy this afternoon. Tonight, all day Thursday, into Thursday night. Thursday especially very, very windy with very strong gusts. We calm down Friday, and then we start heating up in a big way just in time for the weekend. That's your forecast from the National Weather Service. It's 8.5 minutes after the hour. Before we take a break, we want to thank our friends at Confluence Health for sponsoring this program. As Megan mentioned yesterday, they must sponsor the program because they don't watch it. Confluence Health, dedicated to providing safe, quality health care for everybody in North Central Washington. In fact, Dr. Molly Hogan, my guest in the second half of the program, is going to fill your head full of all kinds of important information on keeping your skin safe from the ultraviolet rays. Confluence Health, proud to sponsor this program. Going to take a break. When we come back, the news is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live this morning from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, agent here at Senior Insurance Services of North Central Washington, where we like to teach our customers how to shop and compare from all the Medicare options. Now, a lot of folks will come in and tell me, Jim, I'm so confused about all these choices. In fact, there's 21 reasons you can join a Medicare plan. But we want to focus on the specific plan that's right for you. So if that's what you need, give us a call at Senior Insurance, 888-2600, or visit one of our 5 locations.
Welcome back. We have some sprinkles, light sprinkles, pockets of light rain in north central Washington and the Wenatchee Valley. Lots of clouds, 65 degrees, cloudy and windy today, sunny and very windy on Thursday, and then a nice weekend begins to shaping up once we get to Friday. But temperatures today, tomorrow, and Friday will be well below normal. Here's your Wednesday morning news at 10 after the hour. 2 federal agents suffered injuries during a drug raid early yesterday morning in Moses Lake. The agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives were hit by shrapnel from gunfire. They were not seriously hurt. The shooting took place at a home in the 2400 block of Road E5 Northeast in the May Valley. An unidentified suspect shot himself and was being treated at a Spokane hospital. The raids in several central Washington cities targeted a methamphetamine and heroin drug trafficking organization. More than 300 federal agents served 19 federal search warrants in Grant, Yakima, and Adams counties. They were targeting a Washington-based street gang called Eastside Familia Norteo. There were 11 people arrested in Moses Lake, 1 in Ephrata, 2 in Yakima, and 1 in Warden. Agents say they seized pound quantities of meth, cocaine, and heroin, in addition to 50 firearms and cash as well. Also participating in the raid were the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration, the U.S. Border Patrol, and local agencies. Rivercom, the Wenatchee Valley's 911 system, is going to be asking voters come August to renew a 1/10% sales tax that's set to expire. Rivercom Executive Director Misty V. Brock and retired Executive Director Jim Fossey sat down with me on this very program to talk about what the voters are being asked to vote on.
The advantage here, from my perspective, is this is not a new tax. You've been paying this for 10 years. Rivercom asked 10 years ago for your faith and trust to put this 1/10% tax on sales items. They approved that. I think over the course of 10 years, we've proven to be good stewards of that fund, and so now we're asking renew that.
What if it doesn't pass, and then what next?
In my opinion, if it doesn't pass, the pressure of a $3 million shortfall in our budget each year will land back onto our user agencies, and how they get their funding is through property taxes. And if they should go out for a property tax and that doesn't get approved by the voters, then services are going to have to start being cut. Mm-hmm. Whether that's employee layoffs or if that's just a deduction to service, that's ultimately how I see it. And you'd be hard pressed to find a county in Washington State that does not have the 1/10% sales tax to fund their 911 center. Mm-hmm. So, like Jim said, the board and the user agencies back in 2009 just wanted to show that we'd be good stewards of the money, and it was critical at that time to do these radio improvements. It's still critical today, and like Jim said, it's very costly to run this measure.
Ballots that include the Rivercom measure should be in your mailbox early next week. After more than 18 years with the YWCA of North Central Washington, CEO Jenny Pratt going to retire. Good for Jenny. Pratt has led the YWCA through years of growth, including adding an emergency shelter, transitional housing, and job training for women. Community members are invited to an event to celebrate Pratt's service. It'll be on August 8th at 5:30 in the evening at the YWCA's Women's Empowerment Center. That's at the lower level of their headquarters at 212 First Street in Wenatchee. Well, the Chelan County PUD will acquire the property where the historic Horan House was recently demolished. At their Monday meeting, commissioners approved the purchase of just over 2 acres of property that's next to the site of their proposed new service and operations center in Old Station. The DeVito and Elizabeth Tontini Living Trust agreed to sell the land for $854,211. Commissioner Dennis Bowles said the high price tag did concern some ratepayers.
And I said, if you take 2008 to 2019, that 11-year period of time, and you go up 5% a year and then compound it, what do you get? Just about double.
Shared Services Director Dan Frazier said potential uses for the property include access to the Wenatchee River and the Apple Capital Loop Trail. Well, it was an early morning yesterday out on the water for anglers in north central Washington who finally got a chance to fish for salmon on the Columbia River. Our very own sports director Eric Granstrom was there, and he says opening day fishing was hot.
Well, the Columbia River was supposed to be closed for the entire summer, but the returns here to the upper Columbia were enough to allow the Department of Fish and Wildlife to open the season today, and it will run through the end of September. The escapement goals have been reached for the hatcheries here on the upper Columbia, and so the river is open from Rocky Reach Dam to Wells Dam. Also, the Entiat River and the Chelan River are open for fishing for summer Chinook. And boy, I'll tell you, we've had a busy day out here on the water today. What do you think about this salmon fishing, Marion?
Well, when you've been up all night long. Who needs to go to the gym?
Yeah, no kidding. We're good.
Poor little guy, he's a fighter.
I know. Okay, pull up a little bit and then reel back to him. There you go. Every time you hear that crank, you're making progress. Okay, oh. Keep your rod out there. Okay, Mary's doing a great job. Let's take a look at the fish down there. Nice job. It just fell out in the net. Marion's exhausted.
That's a lot of work.
Okay.
Oh, that is a beauty.
Yeah.
That is a beauty.
Get one more reel here. All right. Oop, don't hit the downrigger ball.
He's like a barely hooked, looks like.
Yeah, he is. Got him.
Yeah.
Woo! Well, how about that? And with that, we're limited. But this is what we're after. It's got some weight to him. Not only has our boat been able to catch limits for 3 different people, but it looks like fishermen and fisherwomen around the upper Columbia are having a great day here on the opener, here on this stretch of river, not too far from BB Bridge. For the NCW Life Channel, I'm Eric Grandstrom.
I wonder what Eric and Marion had for dinner last night. Just curious. Hey, good news. East Wenatchee is going to be joining Wenatchee in November in what's becoming an annual and growing effort to honor area veterans. The Heroes Banners Project involves banners that hang downtown all month, showing a photo, a name, and then the branch of the service and the years served by that veteran. If you have a veteran you'd like to honor, you can contact the Wenatchee Downtown Association or the City of East Wenatchee. They'll be hanging up for the entire month of November in honor of Veterans Day. And that's the news at 18 minutes after the hour. If you're just joining us, we're in for a very windy afternoon. It's kind of calm right now with a little bit of light rain, some light drizzle in pockets around our area. Kind of a quiet morning, but boy, things are going to get real active. Wind will be picking up quite a bit later on this afternoon. Very windy tonight, very, very windy all day Thursday with gusts up near possibly 40 miles an hour in some locations, and we calm down just in time for the weekend, and we're in for very, very warm Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, downright hot. Typical mid-July weather. Speaking of the weather, Grant Olson does a pretty good job forecasting, and he'll be doing those duties in addition to sitting in the anchor chair when we do the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. The NCW Life Evening News with Grant Olson and Eric Grandstrom handling sports. You can watch it on TV at 5, 6, and 10. You can watch it on our website because we stream 24/7, whatever's being on right now, including this program. If you go to ncwlife.com and click on the Watch Now icon, there we are. You can check it out that way. You can also watch it on demand. It's up and running on our website about 4:30 or so in the afternoon, and you can watch the evening news whenever you darn well feel like it. What happened on this Wednesday? We'll let you know in one tidy little half-hour package, and at the bottom of your screen is all the ways you can get a hold of us, and you do a pretty good job of that, I must say. Our viewers do. Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Drop us a line via our Facebook page. Be sure to like us. While we're there, you can pick up the telephone and give us a call, or you can use our website while you're there, surfing around. Click on the Contact Us icon, fill out the form, whoop, push send, and we'll get it. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers. This is as much your station as it is ours. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got sports. We have the obscure holiday. We got birthdays. We got Today in History. Everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, and my conversation with Molly Hogan, Dr. Molly Hogan. She's a dermatologist with Confluence Health. Going to talk about keeping your skin safe when the summer heat comes next week. We got a busy Wednesday. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
I told Miss Nielsen about Simon. He's a best doctor because I like the medicines like he gives me.
He asks like more questions, and that's why I feel like he's more interested in the health. For me, it means a lot. That means he really cares about, about him.
I like you, Simon, and you're my best friend.
What's your Automocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
21 minutes after the hour on this Wednesday, let's talk about sports. The Wenatchee Apple Sox ran their winning streak to 6 games in a big way. There you see it, a 13-1 blowout at Kelowna. Coldy Colden finished a triple away from the cycle. Hunter Montgomery hit a grand slam home run. The Sox make it 6 in a row, and for the 6th consecutive game, by the way, the Apple Sox struck first, scored in the first inning. Colden led off the game with a home run on a 2-2 pitch. Then Ryan Altenberger singled, scored on an RBI double by Dalton Harum. That made it 2-0 Apple Sox. The Sox have now scored 16 runs in the first inning over the course of their 6-game winning streak. In the second inning, Dylan McPhillips and Colden both walked, then scored on an RBI double by Altenberger, who then scored himself on an RBI double by Johnny Sage. The Sox went to work again in the fourth. Brett Gillis had a base hit. Colden doubled him home. That made it 6-0 Apple Sox. Altenberger hit by a pitch. Sage then played at Colden with a base hit. Harum walked to load the bases, and then Blake Clausen drove in Altenberger with a base hit, and then Montgomery came to the plate, launched his 4th home run of the season. That cleared the bases, made it 12-0 Apple Sox. The Sox scored their final run in the 7th inning when Colden had a base hit with 1 out and scored an RBI base hit by Harum 3 batters later. Sam Wyatt worked 6 innings for the victory on the mound. He allowed no runs, 5 hits, 7 strikeouts. Wenatchee will try to extend their streak tonight at 6:35 to see if they make it 7 in a row. Ryan Long is on the mound for the Apple Sox. We don't know who Kelowna is going to go with. Well, 4 members, count them, 4 members of the Wenatchee Apple Sox will represent the organization next Tuesday at the 2019 West Coast League All-Star Game down in beautiful Bend, Oregon. Ryan Altenberger, a junior out of Xavier University, hitting .280 with 8 extra base hits. He's tied for 3rd most on the Apple Sox roster. Jake Somm, he's an incoming freshman at UCLA. He's 3-0 on the mound for Wenatchee, a 2.70 ERA in 5 games. 3 of those were starts, by the way. Sam Wyatt. Sam is a senior at the University of Northern Colorado. He's 2-2 on the mound so far this year, a 2.73 ERA. His 36 strikeouts, by the way, lead the Apple Sox. And finally, Cole McKenzie, a senior at Purdue. He's hitting .370 to lead the Apple Sox. He also tops the team in hits, stolen bases, doubles, extra base hits, and he's been hit by pitches 9 times this year. That's smarts, by the way. This is the 2nd consecutive year that the Apple Sox have sent 4 players to the All-Star game. Again, it's next Tuesday. By the way, Altenberger is also going to participate in the Home Run Derby next Monday night. Let's go to the Les Schwab scoreboard, see what else happened in the West Coast League last night. James Shashin and 3 other pitchers combined on a 4-hitter against Port Angeles. Cowblitz wins 4-1. Tyler Frazier tossed 7 innings of 2-hit shutout ball with 8 strikeouts to lead Yakima Valley over Bend 1-0. The Pippins' lone run came on an RBI base hit by Nick DiCarlo in the 5th inning. Harrison Spoon hit a solo home run. Nick Adams had a 2-run home run to highlight a 6-run 4th inning as Victoria topped Walla Walla 7-1. Calvin Turchin earned the victory on the mound. He went 6 innings. He allowed 1 run on 7 hits. Kyle Manzardo went 3 for 4 with 3 ribbies to lead Portland past Bellingham 5-1. KC Hunt and 3 relievers held the Bells to 1 run on 4 hits with 9 strikeouts. And in a non-league game, Brody Barnum was 4 for 4. Ridgefield topped the Highland Bears 3-2. The Raptors scored what proved to be the game winner in the bottom of the 7th on a solo home run by Justin Boyd. That's what happens. Here's where we stand. In the West Coast League's Northern Division, Wenatchee is now in 1st place. At 5-2, they are statistically tied with Victoria at 6-3. Yakima Valley moves up to third. They're 4-4 on the year. Port Angeles falls to fourth in the second half of the season. 3-4. Bellingham is fifth at 1-5. Kelowna right behind the Bells at 1-6. Marco Gonzalez and the Mariners, well, they were pretty upset by a missed call last night, and then the whole thing fell apart in a 9-2 loss at Oakland last night. Gonzalez and the rest of Seattle's bench felt he had struck out Marcus Seaman in the bottom of the fifth on a 3-2 pitch, but home plate umpire Brian Onora called it a ball. Ball 4. Gonzalez was, well, he was obviously upset. You could tell he was shaken up, and then he went out and gave up back-to-back home runs to Matt Chapman and Matt Olson. So it was 2-1 Seattle, and then it was 5-1 Oakland after that. Ugh. After the game, Gonzalez says, and I'm quoting now, "It's pretty sickening to have a game in the fifth inning, 1-run ball game, 3-2 count, 2 outs. It feels like it's been taken away from me. I couldn't have made a better pitch." The former Apple Sox pitcher went on to say, and again I'm quoting, "Never in my career have I supported showing up umpires. They have a tough job, but that was absolutely awful. I'm sick about it. Change the entire game. 1-run ball game. It's going to be a tough one to swallow." And quote, Chapman was a one-man wrecking crew for Oakland. He finished with 5 RBIs on the night. Seattle's only offense came on 2 solo home runs by Omar Narvaez. The Mariners will try and snap their 5-game losing streak again today. It's an afternoon affair, 12:37. Eric Swanson will take on Homer Bailey, also in the American League West last night. Keitel Marte's 5th inning RBI base hit broke it 2-2 tie. Arizona went on to beat Texas 9-2, and LA scored 6 runs in the first inning, and they cruised to a 7-2 win over Houston. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Wednesday morning. It is 27 minutes after the hour. The obscure holiday of the day today, it's National Hot Dog Day, an iconic American food. Summer days at the ballpark or the amusement park or cookouts or at the beach, I don't care what it is, you got to have a hot dog. Nothing like a hot dog. Right up there with apple pies and cheeseburgers. When was the hot dog invented? Nobody really knows. It's kind of unclear. Most people attribute it to sausages developed during the 13th century in Germany, and then when the Germans made it over here to the United States, German immigrants, and they began to come here, they brought that with them. As early as the 1860s, street vendors in New York City were selling hot dogs in buns, but the real turning point came in the late 1890s when the owner of the St. Louis Browns decided to start selling hot dogs at the ballpark. He owned a ballpark and an amusement park, and he decided it would be a good idea to sell hot dogs while people sit and watch the game, and it was a good idea. I got some fun facts about hot dogs. 9 billion hot dogs are eaten annually in this country every year, and of those 9 billion hot dogs that are eaten every year by just us Americans, 7 billion of those are eaten between Memorial Day to Labor Day, so it's basically a summertime staple. Number 1 hot dog eating day, not surprisingly, Independence Day. $155 million hot dogs are consumed on Independence Day each year. 26 million hot dogs are eaten at baseball stadiums all over this country. In 2014, 7-Eleven sold 60 million hot dogs. Last year, 7-Eleven sold 100 million hot dogs. The most popular condiment for hot dogs, mustard. Not surprisingly. Ketchup comes in second, by the way. My hot dog is mustard and onions. That's mustard and onions, and I'm a happy camper. Putting ketchup on a hot dog is wrong. There, I have my opinion. Even though people like to put ketchup on hot dogs, I'm not one of them. Enjoy a hot dog today. By the way, there's a lot of places out there that are doing specials on hot dogs. So as you go out and about today, just take a look around. A lot of areas, a lot of restaurants and fast food places that serve hot dogs are having specials today. On National Hot Dog Day, I may partake myself. Let's do today in history. July 17th, 1941. Did Joe DiMaggio get a hit yesterday? No. Sorry. Yep, came to an end in front of more than 60,000 fans at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak comes to an end at 56 games. They had great pitching and tremendous defense that day, the Cleveland Indians did. He hit a couple of balls that would have easily been base hits, except they had some sensational plays, especially by Ken Keltner, the third baseman of the Cleveland Indians. New York won the game, by the way, but Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak came to an end at 56. Nobody has even come close to that record ever since. A lot of experts say that record, 56 games in a row with at least one base hit, will never be broken. That's consistency. Came to an end 78 years ago today. 74 years ago today, World War II is a done deal. Now what are we going to do about Europe? Gee, Germany has been devastated. France is in bad shape. Well, the three main leaders of the Allies, Winston Churchill, as you see there, Joseph Stalin and Harry S. Truman, got together in the German city of Potsdam and decided the future of defeated Germany. What they didn't want to do is repeat what they did in World War I, so they wouldn't have a World War III. Okay, we made our mistakes. We know what happened. We let Germany rearm themselves when we weren't paying attention, and we ourselves, of course, just basically let our armies go to seed. They're not going to let that happen again. They met for about 3 weeks, Churchill, Stalin, and Harry S. Truman, and they plotted the future of defeated Germany. The Potsdam Conference began in the States 74 years ago today. Happy 64th birthday, Disneyland! Disneyland opened with that special deal by Walt Disney himself in Anaheim, California, July 17th, 1955, 64 years ago today. Disneyland has the largest cumulative attendance of any theme park in the world since it opened. In the summer of 1955, 708 million people have visited Disneyland. Disneyland each year welcomes about 18 million guests a year. That's second to any amusement park in the world. Number one, Disney World in Florida. I've been to both Disneyland and Disney World. Of course, Disney World is considerably larger. It's got a ginormous footprint compared to Disneyland. But Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, unless you work there, opened 64 years ago today. Today is the 40th anniversary of the All-Star Game at the Kingdome. Yeah, I remember this. July 17th, 1979, 40 years ago today, the 50th All-Star Game was held at the Kingdome. The National League beat the American League in a very exciting game. Went right down to the bottom of the ninth inning. The final was 7-6. The 1979 All-Star Game was held 40 years ago today in the Emerald City, and a very tragic event happened 38 years ago today, July 17th, 1981. A structural failure led to the collapse of a walkway at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in downtown Kansas City. 114 people were crushed to death, or more than 200 were injured, and it was a shock to the system of the people of Kansas City. The famous structural failure happened on this date back in 1981. Finally, let's do some birthdays for we, shall we? Born in 1763, John Jacob Astor lived a long time for somebody who was born back then. He lived all the way to the age of 84, and he died a very rich man. He was the first multimillionaire in United States history. He started out in the fur trading business, made a bunch of money in the fur trading business, and he took all that money and he started to buy up as much real estate as he could in the greater New York City area, and it made him a multimillionaire. When he died in 1848, he was worth $20 million. That was a lot of money. In fact, $20 million in 1848 is worth about $125 billion today. John Jacob Astor, the first multimillionaire in this country's history, was born in 1763. Earl Stanley Gardner, born in the state in 1889. He was the American lawyer who, of course, created Perry Mason. Wrote the novels, a bunch of novels, over 80 Perry Mason books at one point. At the time of his death in 1970, he was the best-selling American writer of the 20th century. And a lot of people don't know this, but the very last episode of Perry Mason in 1966, the case of the final fade-out, the judge was played by Earl Stanley Gardner. He was born in the state in 1889. And who was the most powerful woman in the world? Probably, well, I don't think there's any doubt. It's Angela Merkel. This is without question the most powerful woman in the world. She's in her fourth term as the Chancellor of Germany. She's not going to run for re-election. She is 65 years old today, and she is not to be messed with. We'll leave it at that. 35 minutes after the hour. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. We'll find out what's on Mike's mind here in just a couple of minutes. Then my conversation with Dr. Molly Hogan from Confluence Health. She's a dermatologist. Hey, summertime's coming. You want to protect your skin. Those ultraviolet rays will do a number on it. That conversation with Molly. When we come back, you watch your Makeup in Angie Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Is this really what we're going to do on our girls' night out?
We should go to Club Crow.
The bar and grill in Kashmir?
Yeah, let's go.
Looking for a fun-filled, friendly hometown atmosphere? Club Crow Bar and Grill in Kashmir is the place to be. Hi, this is Justin. Here at Club Crow, we have full bar and restaurant, live music, a dance floor, pool tables, pull tabs, and live jam sessions the first Sunday of every month. Club Crow in Kashmir, the coolest place in town.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning has been proudly serving the Wenatchee Valley for over 35 years. And just as Dick's has been there for you, they have also been an essential part of our community, supporting local youth sports all year long and your Wenatchee Wild.
Thanks for your support.
Thanks, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, for all your support. Thank you.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, your local, independent, trained comfort specialist. Call 884-6444 today.
Wowee! Collins Fashions has all your needs for summer events. Cool tanks and tees, Bermudas, skirts, capris, ankle pants, embellished jeans, pretty sundresses. And ladies, we have amazing special occasion dresses for your weddings and cruises. All washable in many flattering styles and colors. Collins has over 100 different styles of sandals and shoes for your lifestyle. Tommy Bahama for men and women is in stock, and we can special order just for you. Come in soon to your Brighton headquarters, where fun meets fashion in downtown Wenatchee.
Corey here from Rose Tractor, your local Cub Cadet dealer. We've got the all-new Cub Cadet Ultima zero-turn mowers in stock, and they are awesome. The Ultima is like no other zero-turn you've seen. With a box tube frame and available Kawasaki engine, it has unmatched strength and performance, cutting up to 50% faster than lawn tractors. You have to see the Cub Cadet Ultima to believe it. Come on down and experience the Cub Cadet Ultima today.
Being able to support yourself and your family is an important part of who we are. We all need to know we're able to provide ourselves with a secure future. Some job seekers have a harder time finding work. That's why Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is here, a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to help people find work. When you shop at or donate to Goodwill, you're really being a job creator, and that's a good thing for everyone's future. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
Is search engine optimization right for my business? Maybe. Studies show the first and second search results get 50% of all the clicks. But you have to fight national chains to get there. If the user has to scroll down to find you, tough luck. You could hide a dead body on page 2 and the whole zombie apocalypse on page 3. Or you could spend less and get an ad in the Impact Big Print phone book, giving local businesses a chance to shine.
Impact Directories. Bigger print, better book.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, one of the many suggestions being kicked around to deter school shootings is improved mental health services. Well, I agree with that concept, that better identification of potential shooting perpetrators and the application of directed and subjective services to such individuals is definitely a step in the right direction. However, as with all suggestions to deter school shootings, better mental health services is a limited answer, as mental health counseling is only effective if the individual receiving the services wants to be helped. The old joke comes to mind. How many counselors does it take to change somebody? Or how does to change a light bulb is what I mean. Well, only one, but the light bulb has to want to be changed. I messed up that joke. Hey, but this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds & More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds & More, your local blind store.
At Doghouse Motorsports, we ride what we sell. There's a lot we could say about the CD Spark and the CD GTI, but ultimately, the ride says it all.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers one-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive. No nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Kashmir. Affordable care.
At Harvest Valley Pest Control, we know you are committed to making your home and business a healthy and pest-free place. Hi, I'm David. Give us a call and we'll give you a firm price over the phone and schedule a time that works for you. We will do an in-depth 30-point healthy home or business inspection and craft a customized plan of action designed specifically for your pest issue. Give us a call or visit our website today.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. Once a month, our friends from Confluence Health comes down and pays me a visit. It's all part of their sponsorship of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We get to know one of the fine physicians at Confluence Health. Today is no exception. To my immediate left, hey, it's summertime. The living may be easy, the fish may be jumping, the cotton may be high, but we got ultraviolet rays out there, and that's not good for your skin. And here to talk about that is Dr. Molly Hogan, who is a dermatologist at Confluence Health. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's good to see you on board.
Nice to be here.
People are getting the message, right? I mean, we've been inundated over the last 15 to 20 years now about going out and spending way too much time in the sun without protection is bad for you. People get it now, do they not?
Yeah, I definitely think people get it now. I think little kids now are more protected than we were. Parents know, and I think that's just trickling up. Lots of people know. Yeah. It's great.
Why? There are literally thousands of different disciplines in the world of medicine. Why did you choose dermatology? How did that land on your desk?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Like many ways to answer that question. I went to medical school at the University of Washington, and at the UW, most of the dermatology professors were also trained in internal medicine.
Okay.
So I first did a residency in internal medicine, and then I worked in the ER at Harborview, so kind of a roundabout way. And as I was kind of working there, I realized I needed to do a specialty. And while most people in internal medicine specialize in gastroenterology or cardiology or endocrinology, something like that, in Seattle it feels also like dermatology is an option. And for me, dermatology was a great option because you get to see kids, you get to see grown-ups, you do medicine, you do surgery, you do pathology, you see complicated cases, and then people are very motivated when they come in. They're like, what is this brown spot? I think I'm about to die. Whereas if you have a little something going on with your liver, you might not ever know.
Right.
So we've motivated patients. We're not nagging at them to fix themselves. They're coming to us because they have a question.
There are a lot of cancers that are completely avoidable. If you do certain things, you will never get this cancer. It's as simple as that. Is melanoma one of those? Can you simply...
I wish it were. It's not quite that simple.
I mean, if you spend your entire life in a dungeon, can you still get melanoma, I guess?
You sure can.
Wow.
It's very unfortunate. A large percentage of melanomas are due to ultraviolet rays. Australia is a great example. They've implemented this public health program where they get everybody to, wear their sunscreen, wear hats, find shade, that sort of thing. And their rates of melanoma have come down, but they're definitely not zero. Okay. Other facts about melanoma include that it can be familial. You can have a genetic tendency toward it. And you can get melanoma in places where the sun never shines, like the back of your eye, up inside parts of you that we probably shouldn't talk about first thing in the morning. You can get a melanoma.
Not a bad idea. But it sounds like hereditary plays a significant role in it.
Not significant. I think we usually quote around 10%. I would say cancers you can almost universally avoid by staying out of the sun would be basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma. There's a couple other rare ones, but those would be some good ones to feel pretty confident. If you spent your life in a cellar, you may never get them.
Okay, but this is a beautiful area. People go outside. Is there a safer time this time of the year? It's summertime. Is there a safer time than not? If you just simply, I have to go outside, I have to ride my bike, I have to go take a walk in the park, I want to go fly a kite, I want to go golfing. Is there a good time and a bad time to go out in the sun if you're just going to go out and do it, regardless of how much protection you put on?
I think I'm not really a rule type person. I'd rather I think of our job as saving lives so you can live your life. You don't want to just hide in a box. But the rule of thumb might be like if your shadow is short, that's not the best time to be out. Maybe later in the evening, early in the morning are safer. Or, probably better yet is layer up with sunscreen, clothing that's protective, hats, sunglasses, those kinds of things are really helpful.
The adage that we had growing up is we couldn't be out in the sun in the summertime between 11 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. That was the magic 3 hours.
You're supposed to be indoors.
Yeah, you're supposed to be indoors. That was the
Yeah.
deal.
I mean, I think if that works for you, that is certainly really reasonable, but it's not going to be 100% protective. There's lots of UV, especially in north central Washington, where our sun goes down at, 9 o'clock, 9:30? So there's still a lot of UV to be had. And if it works for you to stay indoors from 11 to 2, I would still say once you get out there, you still want that protection.
What about ultraviolet rays in the dead of winter? It's sunny and 20 degrees and there's a bunch of snow on the ground. Is that still a concern?
Definitely.
I see people come back from Mission Ridge and they have ski goggle eyes and they got the
Right,
raccoon eyes because
yeah.
they're out skiing all day.
Yeah, I mean it's where glacier glasses that you might remember from pictures of the 1970s,
Sure.
people going up Mount Rainier. There's beautiful sunny bluebird days, right? So you can get a lot of UV that way, and then the sun and the water. So that would be in the summertime, but snow in the wintertime can reflect up, so you can get weird sunburns like under your chin, under your nose. So yeah, you got to protect yourself.
Absolutely.
Just because it's cold doesn't mean you can't get it.
I golf a lot, and I try to swim whenever I can. And you go to the Walgreens and you go to the Rite Aids, and you don't know. I mean, there's just the higher SPF, the more protection that you get. But we're overwhelmed with choices. Is there a be-all catch? The higher SPF, the better, or how does that work?
Yeah, I think that is the best rule of thumb.
Okay.
It's not.
I guess let's back up a little bit, Doc. What is SPF? What is that? That's an acronym for what?
It's the sun protection factor, and
Okay.
the idea is like the number simply says how many times more protected you are than your normal baseline, like number of minutes. So if it takes you 15 minutes to burn, if you had totally unexposed skin, with SPF 4, it might take you 60. That being said, I don't think any human, including us somewhat neurotic dermatologists, we don't even put on enough sunscreen compared to what they do in a laboratory.
Okay.
So if you hear all the time that higher number sunscreens don't matter. And that is true in a laboratory setting. So if you have, some folks in white coats and some glass plates and they're spreading it out at this uniform thickness and then shining light through and seeing how much gets through, yeah, above 30, it doesn't matter, you're good.
Okay.
But in reality, no human puts on that much. We estimate that you're getting about a fourth as whatever the protection is, you could divide by 4. So an SPF of 15 is closer to an SPF of 3, 4, 5 maybe, which is not doing much for you.
Okay.
So that's why the American Academy of Dermatologists, all of us dermatologists, we say SPF 30 or higher, broad spectrum, reapply often. You know what I mean? That's
Sure,
where that
yeah.
mantra comes from, because we're all human. We only put
Right.
on so much.
Yeah. Is it overpriced? You can tell me. It seems to me.
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
It seems to me it costs too much money to get this stuff.
Well, I mean, I hadn't thought about that. Given that you live in a capitalist economy, it's whatever the market will bear.
That's true. That's true. And by the way, and I discovered this, they have expiration dates.
Yes.
And there's a reason for that. Because if I got my lotion from last year, it's still sitting in the kitchen cabinet, it'll work just fine. It may not.
It may not, especially if it separates. If it's been in a dark cabinet, not getting excessive heat and, no light, you might pull it out next year and find that it looks fine, smells fine. It's probably okay. But if it's 5 years old, it's probably not. And then if it's separated or looks or smells funny, ain't gonna work.
Okay. What about tanning beds? What's the deal with those things?
Yeah, unfortunately, tanning beds are now classified by the World Health Organization as carcinogenic as asbestos and smoking.
Oh, that's lovely.
So you can't get much worse than that. Tough to study, something that's like that. And so some of the good studies have looked at people, groups of people and just asked, have you ever used a tanning bed? Not how many times, when was it, all those details. It's just ever or never. And in people who've ever used a tanning bed even once, they have a 75% higher chance of melanoma.
That's 74% too much for me.
Right, totally.
That's
yeah.
insane.
So yeah, we generally recommend no tanning beds. If you need to be tanned, self-tanner is safer, but so is the natural sunlight.
Okay.
Safer.
Just do it in moderation.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we are all guilty of this, and I'm in that group. In the dead of winter, a lot of people go south of the winter. They go to Hawaii, they go to California, they go to Arizona, they go to Mexico, they go to whatever, and they're going in there and they're pasty white because they got their moon tan going, and boom, they're in that tropical sun like that. That's a big shock to your skin, isn't it?
Right.
So
Yes.
How do you prep for that? Because they always say, go to the tanning bed and get a
Right.
free tan. But
That is what people used to say, and I think some people still do think that. Tanning bed lamps are not the same spectrum as natural sunlight, so it's just giving you UVA. So you are getting a little bit of UVA exposure, but it's the equivalent. A tan from the tanning bed gives you an SPF of about 4. And nobody I know would go to the beach in Mexico with good old Coppertone SPF 4 anymore. So it's a false sense of security, and you can get much more sun damage that way. So I think the way to prep is go stock up with your higher SPF sunscreens, your hats, your sunglasses, your protective clothing, and layer up that way. That's safer.
I wore a hat when I golf because I have a small little male pattern baldness spot in the back of my head, and I'll never forget the first time I didn't, and I would comb my hair and I went, wow, I got a sunburn on the back of my head. How did that happen? What are the signs, what are the symptoms people need to look at when they examine their skin? They say that's an abnormality that wasn't there before.
Right. So there's 2 easy ways to think about this. So one is the ABCDEs of melanoma. So A is asymmetric. If it looks like the shape of Texas or West Virginia, that's not the same as a nice circle or an oval. B would be the border is irregular. That's hard to kind of visualize, but if you look at some of your normal moles, you're like, oh yeah, I could more or less draw a circle around that. That's more or less a circle with an edge. Right. Maybe not the crispest edge that you drew in geometry class, but it's an edge. You can tell where it starts and stops. If the border's irregular, it's kind of jaggedy and hard to tell. Then C is the color. The way I think about that is either it's a color that doesn't match anything else on your skin. So like if you make sort of a chocolatey brown type of mole and now suddenly you have something that's dark black, that's an outlier. Or more than one color, so it's black, brown, red, green, oh my goodness. Diameter, the rule of thumb there is bigger than the bottom of a pencil eraser, so 6 millimeters. And then E is for evolving, so that's the ABCDEs. That's a great way to think about it. I also really like what we call the ugly duckling sign. You take kind of 2 big giant steps backwards and kind of squint, and like all of the spots are kind of more or less tan and kind of more or less oval and kind of more or less look like each other. We're good. If you take that big step back and it's like, oh, what's that one? He's 3 colors. He's the shape of Texas. That's the one we want off.
Okay.
So those are 2 good ways to
How long can it lay dormant? How long can you have a spot that may eventually develop because can it sit there for a long period of time and then?
Yeah, I think that I would say it varies. If you see, it's like the TSA. If you see something, say something, is how I would do it. Because, you'll have cases where somebody will say, I know this spot wasn't here 6 weeks ago and it's already an invasive melanoma by the time we biopsy it, and that's only 6 weeks. Other people will say, I know I've had this 2 years and we biopsy and it's still very shallow. So it really depends.
Is the fact that your face and your forearms, for the most part, I'll be an example, is exposed all the time, does that play a role as well? Because
it does seem to play a role. We don't understand the biology. It puts you at higher risk for basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma in those areas that are chronically sun exposed, whereas melanoma is more in intermittently exposed areas.
Okay. I learned stuff. I love having physicians on. I love having people who are smarter than I am on. How is biz? Are you bored in the world of dermatology?
We're never bored.
Okay.
We're always drowning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything dermatology related that you want to touch on? Because we specifically wanted to talk about keeping your skin safe in the dog days of summer, which is when these things happen, when people get sunburns and suntans. Anything else in the world of dermatology while I have you here?
Well, I really think that's the most important thing. Like no one likes a rash, no one likes strange growths, nobody likes aging, et cetera, but none of those are life-threatening. Weird things that grow on you that maybe bleed or hurt or get bigger or change, color, shape, size, any of that, I would say get it checked sooner rather than later. Yeah, I think that's the only message dermatology would ever want to bring up. And wear your sunscreen.
Yeah. Here's hoping you just get bored all summer long. You're just sitting in your office playing cribbage.
Ain't gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. It's good to meet you, Doc.
Yeah,
Keep up
nice
the good
to
work.
meet you.
Keep up the good work. Yes.
Thanks.
You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. Thank you once again for Confluence Health, to our friends at Confluence Health, dedicated to providing safe, quality health care for everybody in North Central Washington, for sponsoring this interview. We'll be right back.
SkillSource specializes in assessing and guiding youth, adults, and laid-off workers who want to improve their skills. Here you can attend in-depth workshops to assess skills and interests, make career plans, and learn computer basics.
Learning centers provide eligible youth and adults individualized computer-assisted basic education. Vocational training is arranged with approved providers like community colleges or on the job with businesses.
Don't wait any longer. Let's get working on the future you've been dreaming about.
The Cottage Inn has been a Wenatchee Valley landmark since 1940, making it one of the longest-running locally owned restaurants around. And it's better than ever. Steak, seafood, and their famous homemade desserts for dinner, wonderful lunch items, and breakfast on Sundays, all made from scratch and at an affordable price. It's no wonder the Cottage Inn has been so popular for over 75 years. Enjoy a fabulous meal today at the Cottage Inn on Easy Street in Old Station. Looking for a hands-on, high-demand job? Now is the perfect time to get trained for a career in manufacturing. Washington currently has a shortage of skilled tradespeople, and retirements are making room for more. The machining program at Wenatchee Valley College is designed to give students the foundation to excel in this precision industry. Don't wait, there are only 15 spots left. A 2-year degree and a 1-year certificate are available. Learn more at wvc.edu/machining. And we're back live here from Studio 3 in downtown Wenatchee. I am Dan Kuntz. Let's wrap up this program where we began this program with that all-important weather forecast, and we got a weather roller coaster heading our way. Lots of clouds today. A little bit of light rain is expected. Yeah, high of about 79. We've had some intermittent light rain at times in the Wenatchee Valley. You see that high today of 79. Once again, well below normal. Our normal high on this date would be 88 degrees. In fact, with yesterday's high of 83 degrees, we've now gone 10 out of our last 11 days with the high temperature below normal, in some cases well below normal, and that's what we see today. But what we're really keeping an eye on is this next system that's moving into the region, and that is what we're looking at wind-wise. Very gusty winds Wednesday and Thursday, especially Thursday. For today, we're going to have a little bit of wind this morning. This is going to pick up in intensity. A northwest wind about 8 to 16 miles per hour. We can see gusts here in the Wenatchee Valley somewhere between 25 and 30 miles per hour. That's today. And then widespread windy conditions expected tonight. Gusts, again, right around 25 miles an hour. Pretty consistent winds, about 8 to 15 miles an hour tonight. Thursday is the big day. Lots of sunshine. We're dealing with clouds today. We're going to have gobs of sunshine Thursday, but it's going to be very windy at times. We could see gusts at 35 to 40 miles an hour at times on Thursday. And, of course, those exposed ridges, Wenatchee Heights, the East Wenatchee Bench, the Waterville Plateau, you could see gusts even stronger than that as the system continues to plow through the area. And it continues right on Thursday night. Thursday night's overnight low, by the way, only going to be 57 degrees. That's it. That's chilly for the middle of July. And it's still going to be windy all the way Thursday night. So the wind is going to be basically this afternoon, all night tonight, all day Thursday, all the way into Thursday night. And then in the overnight hours, Thursday night into Friday, it begins to exit the area. Now, we're going to have some cool air associated with it that's coming down from the Gulf of Alaska. That's why our high Friday, even though we're going to have lots of sunshine, is only going to be about 80 degrees. And then the warm-up begins. Saturday, 86, Sunday, 92, 96, 96. Going to get hot. Finally going to get some July weather after a long period of cooler and cloudier weather than we're normally used to. By the way, any fire concerns out there, National Weather Service thinks they're not going to have to issue a red flag warning. 3 things need to happen: low relative humidity, which is going to happen, strong winds, which is going to happen, and hot temperatures. We're not going to have any hot temperatures until we get to the early part of next week. So don't look for a red flag warning, but certainly, yeah, we're going to keep a close eye on any fires that may develop. J.D. Taylor will be my guest tomorrow, provided the show isn't canceled. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.